Seems today that all you see
is violence in movie and sex on TV.
And those old good old-fashioned values
on which we used to rely.
That's it. That's enough. That was unbearably.
That was creative. That was a creative intro, though.
It was cringe.
Hey guys.
Hi. Hey guys. Welcome to another top 10 list. And in this top 10 list, we're going to be giving our top 10 favorite episodes of Family Guy. I have always watched Family Guy, but I stopped watching it for a long time. A few years. Maybe about 5, 6. She got me back into it on Netflix, and then we just watch it every night. It's like our night thing now. And I thought, for a fun idea, we do our top 10 favorite episodes of Family Guy. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. And before we get to a top 10 list, we got to give our honorable mentions. She's the guest, so she will go first. She will give her honorable mentions, and then I'll give my honorable mentions. Then she'll go 10, and I'll go 10. 9, 9, 8, 8, till we both share our number ones. See how it goes?
Yeah.
All right. Start it off. Honorable mentions.
Am I doing all of them at the same
Yeah.
time?
Just list
all
them
right.
all off.
Right. So my first honorable mention is Lois. Oh my gosh.
Lewis Griffin. That's
Lewis.
the adoptive character.
Lois.
Yeah.
Lois comes out of her shell. That's the one where she thinks she's having a midlife crisis.
Yeah. Just say the titles. You don't need to go through them.
Right.
Mostly just say them.
Okay. Next one is Death is a Bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Lethal Weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Family Guy Through the Years.
Okay.
And Peter's Two Dads.
All right. Pretty good. My honorable mentions. Road to Rhode Island. North by North Quahog. Mustrogan. Is it Mustrogan? Mixed Strogan.
My goodness.
I can't even fucking read.
Well, look how bad his writing is.
Don't
I'll show you.
Show the list.
I was showing the honorable
spoilers.
mentions.
Patriot Games. Baby Not on Board. Three Kings and Peter's Daughter. All good episodes. Just commit the top 10. Number 10. What's your number 10?
My number 10 is Candy Cohar.
You're giving me shit. Like
Candy Cohog Marshmallow.
Candy Cohog Marshmallow. Say that 5 times fast.
I can't. I couldn't even say it 1 time fast. What's your number 10?
Why do you like that episode, though?
I like it mostly because of the song.
That's it?
No.
That's a horrible reason to like that episode.
I said mostly because of the song.
Oh, God. Giving me attitude now. So you just like it?
It's just a fun episode.
Just a fun episode?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 10 for me is Road to Germany. Road to Germany is a great episode because I love almost every Road episodes with Brian and Stewie because they're literally the best characters of the show. So it's just focused on the 2 characters that we give a fucking shit about. It's great.
I agree.
They go into Berlin during World War II because they're following Mort Goldman, and Mort thinks he's back with his ancestors and stuff, and it's a great episode, very funny. The scene when Stewie does the mimicking of Adolf Hitler is one of my all-time favorite scenes. It's actually a mimic of an old school 1920s film. It's a really great, very good, smart episode, and one of my favorites. And yeah, love it. Number 9.
My number 9 is Farmer Guy. This is when
I don't know that one.
I'm about to explain it, and then you cut me off.
Oh.
This is when crime goes up in Quahog, and they decide to move onto a farm in Townsville and discover the meth lab downstairs.
Oh, yeah, okay. I know that one. Yeah. Brian goes to college.
Brian goes to college, and then he comes back, and they're just all methed up, and no one's wearing any clothes. It's a fucked up episode, and that's why I like it so much.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. My number 9 is Road to the Multiverse.
That's shocking.
Yeah, it's a great episode. I just think some episodes are better, but it's a wonderful day for pie.
It's a wonderful day for pie.
And it smells a lot better than I.
Everyone in the house.
And this Adam West mouse.
The bees making honey. This Tom Tucker bunny.
We all sing with glee, 'cause we all agree it's a wonderful, wonderful day for pie.
That is what makes it probably one of the best episodes.
Yeah.
Is the way they did the Disney animation. Will you stop playing with the mouse? I can hear it.
Sorry, I fidget.
You're not listening to me.
I'm listening. Number 8.
Number 8. Number 8. Go to number 8.
This was controversial when we were sharing our lists with each other, but I put Brian and Stewie.
Yeah.
In number 8.
Yeah. We'll talk about it when I talk about it. Like.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's in his list. Don't worry.
Oh God, yeah. Number 8 for me is Road to Vegas. Road to Vegas is a great episode. It's another road, 3 road episodes in a row for Brian and Stewie. This one's really cool because it's basically because it's a time travel sort of episode. It's Stewie makes a teleporting machine, and it creates 2 alternate timelines when the teleporting machine worked and when it didn't work. So you get to see the Brian and Stewie in 2 different alternate realities, and they both end up together because they're still in the same reality, but it's like 2 clones of them, and they each make different decisions. And one story Brian dies, and one story Stewie dies,
and
then they meet up together, and then at the end of the episode, the dead Brian and Stewie are in heaven. So it's very funny. It's very clever, and it's just a wild ride, and I love that episode. It's a great episode.
Fair enough.
Number 7.
All right. Number 7 for me is To Love and Die in Dixie.
Okay, yeah.
Episode, that episode. Chris witnesses a murder, and they get put in witness protection program, and they go south. And Chris falls in love with what he thought was a guy, but actually ended up being a girl.
A girl, yeah. I remember the banjo scene when Stewie's playing the banjo.
Met her on my CD, said her name was Mimi, sounded like an angel come to earth. But when I went to meet her, man, you should have seen her, twice as tall as me, 3 times the girl. Oh, my fat baby loves to eat. A big old boot of belly and her breast swing past her feet. My fat baby loves to eat. My big old fat ass baby loves to eat.
I love that. That's a great episode. And Peter's like the sheriff of the town.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. Good episode. Number 7 for me is Back to the Pilot. Back to the Pilot is a sort of newer season episode, and great episode. Again, another Brian and Stewie episode. I just love all those episodes. But Back to the Pilot is basically they travel back in time to the very first episode of Family Guy. And they just change all of reality because Brian tells himself to not stop 9/11, but it fucks everything up. And then they have to keep going back. But every time they keep going back to the pilot episode, they just keep changing it and changing it and changing it. And then the ending just goes all crazy. And there's like a bajillion of them all going back. And then Stewie's like, okay, everyone, shut the fuck up and just go back. It is such a great episode. It's what makes Family Guy so funny. It's just the wackiness and the absurdity, and just it's so great. I love the episode. It's one of my favorites. I think it's one of the funniest episodes. Number 6.
My number 6 is actually Back to the Pilot.
Back to the Pilot. There you go.
I don't need to do any kind of description for it because you got that covered.
Yeah, great episode. It's a funny episode.
Yeah.
Number 6 for me is PTV. That's Peter TV. I love it. It's the freaking FCC. This entire episode I love is because it's about censorship, and I'm all about censorship. I'm against it. I'm
anti-censorship.
I'm very anti-censorship. I believe everyone could say what they need to say, joke what they need to joke about, all about free speech. And basically, Family Guy in this episode, they censor everything, and Peter wants to make his own TV program and create things that are very outrageous, raunchy, and just foul. Like, he calls the whole show the side boob hour and stuff. Like, it's a lot about, like, side boob. It's all about, like, you know, you shouldn't censor people, shouldn't censor comedy, censor a good story, or censor plot lines that don't need to be censored. And it's an episode that stands very true, even very true to nowadays and stuff. People are very butthurt nowadays and stuff. And I think it's a great episode, and I think it still will always stand the test of time and be very relevant. So, PTV number 6. Top 5.
Woo. Here we go. Number 5 for me, Stewie, Chris, and Brian's Excellent Adventure.
Okay.
This is when Chris has to pass his history exam. They think he's going to fail. He's failing the course. So Brian and Stewie take him on a little adventure through history. They kill a scientist. And they end up on the Titanic.
Oh, again, that's Family Guy with its absurdity. Just like,
they end up on the Titanic, and Chris ends up throwing his teacher's relative off the Titanic, and then, you know, his teacher isn't born, and he doesn't have a history exam. So I guess it all worked out in the end. Yeah,
pretty much. Great episode. Really good. All right. Top 5 for me. Number 5, Blue Harvest. I was going to say Blue Harvard. No. Blue Harvest, the satire of Star Wars. I don't have something dark side. It's good, not that great, but it's good. It's a trap's absolute shit. Blue Harvest is laugh out loud hysterical. One of the funniest episodes of Family Guy. The way they satire Star Wars, you could tell this was written by people who love Star Wars. It's kind of like when you watch Spaceballs and stuff. Like,
I loved Spaceballs.
Well, yeah, you can tell that these people know to make fun of a material, you actually have to love the material because you know the material the most. Yeah. I believe to make fun of something properly, you need to know it properly. And the way they do the shots, the characters, the scenarios. There's a scene when they're just trying to get a couch out of a fucking door. It is hilarious. And Stewie as this like very tiny Darth Vader is very funny, very enjoyable. Herbert as Obi-Wan, that's just hilarious right there. And I think it's one of the funniest episodes, and it's so good. Number 5. Number 4.
Number 4 for me is The Big Bang Theory. Once again, this is mostly a Brian and Stewie episode, where Brian starts using Stewie's time machine to get the ladies. Anyways, and Stewie catches him. They fight in Stewie's time machine, and boom, end up outside the space-time continuum. So they overload the return pad, and it sends them back, and that explosion from the return pad is the Big Bang Theory, and Bertram finds out about it, which is technically Stewie's brother. It's long story. If you don't know it, go watch Family Guy. Yeah. It's a great show.
Yeah.
Anyways, and then Bertram tries to kill an ancestor of Stewie, so he's never born. And if Stewie's not there to create the universe doesn't exist. What's your number 4?
Number 4. You went science, I went religion. I Dream of Jesus. I Dream of Jesus is a fucking bird is the word. Don't you know that the bird is the word? Everybody knows that the bird is the word. Ooh ma 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 ooh ma ma ma.
All right.
It is like the most irritatingly amazing episode ever. The scene where Brian and Stewie do the satire of Office Space and destroy the record is great. But that's just the first half. Then the next half is about Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ works at a music store. Peter finds Jesus and brings him into the world and stuff. And then Jesus becomes famous and it almost becomes like a rock star and becomes a drug addict and everything, just like every celebrity does. It's just such a weird out there episode. But I love every second of it. It's a great episode. Number 3.
Number 3. Actually, same episode. I Dream of Jesus.
I Dream of Jesus. My bird is the word.
All right. What's your number 3?
3? Oh, yeah. Number 3, and then there were fewer. And then there were fewer is the premiere of season 9, Family Guy. I think this is the most interesting episode. It is the most beautifully animated episode, and it's the biggest scaled episode, the way they do the mansion and stuff. They actually legit kill characters off in this episode. And it's the first murder mystery. I love a good murder mystery myself. And Family Guy did actually a very intriguing one. I didn't know where it was going. I didn't see the twist coming. And I didn't know what characters were going to be safe. It was actually quite intriguing. And it was also really, really funny. And I think it's one of the best episodes. I love this episode. I think it's a great episode. Number 3.
My number 2. Almost there. All right. Yes. My number 2 was actually The Road to the Multiverse. The Disney one.
The Disney one. It's a wonderful day for pie. But they also, in that, they travel to the dog universe in that one too. Yeah.
Really great episode. It's one of my favorites. That's why I was so shocked that it was so low in your list.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's very good.
I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a classic. It's a
Anyways,
classic.
What is your number 2?
My number 2 is Road to the North Pole. Christmas episode. Very dark Christmas episode at that. Great musical numbers. The opening one's great. Again, it's another Brian Stewie episode. They basically, Santa Claus doesn't talk to Stewie at the mall, so he wants to go murder Santa Claus. So, yeah. So Brian basically takes him to a trip to the North Pole to prove that Santa Claus isn't real. When they find out Santa Claus is real, and he's a very depressed, overworked, just deranged person with mutant elves. And
isn't he 28 in that movie? In that movie? Or in that episode? Santa is 28 in that episode.
And he looks like he's 100.
Yeah.
As one of the best Family Guy songs, Christmas Time is Killing Us.
Yeah.
It actually shows the realism of Santa Claus, because there's so many people in the world. How do you deliver to that many people? And he's just like, I have to make 20,000 iPods. How do you do that? Like, it is crazy. And Brian Stewie doing the Santa Claus, then they do the home invasion. And
oh God, that home invasion is hilarious.
It's just a funny, crazy episode.
Been here for an hour and a half.
He's like, how does he do? How does he do this all in one night? No one. It's inhuman. It's like great episode. Funny, dark, twisted. Just like Christmas is sometimes. What's your number 1?
My number 1 is actually Road to the North Pole. Mm-hmm. I love that episode. Love the darkness of it. Love the musical numbers in it. I just think it's fantastic episode. The music gets stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Stuck in my head.
The Killing Us. Christmas time.
Christmas time is killing us.
Kill us.
One of my all-time favorite episodes. Yeah. It was so hard to make this list, but that one came up number 1.
Number 1.
What's your number 1?
Brian and Stewie. Brian and Stewie is the best episode of Family Guy. It won the Emmy for Family Guy.
Their one and only Emmy.
Yeah, this is the definitive best episode, in my opinion, I think. I think it's fantastic. I think it's the best writing. I think it is funny, but also it is the most dramatic episode of Family Guy, because it's basically just an hour-long episode of Brian and Stewie locked in a bank vault together. And it's all done in one take, kind of like the movie Rope. It's all done in one shot, like it's like a play. And it's basically the two of them. Sorry. I'm joking up here. It's basically the two of them basically just releasing their inner demons and stuff. Brian has a gun in there just in case he wants to kill himself one day. And Stewie just pretends he doesn't care about Brian, but really Brian's the only person in this world that he does care about. And they just learn a lot about each other and find themselves. There's also some really dark comedy when Stewie has to shit his pants and then Brian has to eat his shit and lick his ass and put his diaper back on. And then he vomits and has to eat the vomit. It's funny. And then Stewie gets drunk and then pierces his ear and his ear gets ripped open.
That was just one crazy episode.
It's so fucked up, but it's so great. It's very emotional, very deep. It's probably the best written episode of Family Guy. I easily think it's the best episode. I think it's fantastic. So we did it. So yeah, that was our top 10 favorite episodes of Family Guy. So in the comment section below, please tell me, did you agree with this top 10 list? If not, give me your guys' top 10 favorite Family Guy episodes. Your guys' opinion. Comment below. Let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to this channel. And what are we going to do? Join the dark side.